Gonna try, gonna try, gonna try. Work till I die, till I die, till I die. I'm gonna fail and get up, cause I'm not giving up on my dream.
Hi my lovely Frosty fam, it's me, Karen Frost, here at Nail Decadence. Welcome to my channel, welcome one and all. I have an acrylic set to share with you. I'm going to have some fun with some rainbow neon colours. I always mix my acrylic colours myself, so if you are interested in how I mix my own acrylic coloured powders, then do go ahead and check out the video in the link in the cards. That will take you to my video of how to mix your own custom acrylic powders, colours that is. Yeah, and then these are all the bits. The glitter came from that set. It's just a set of mixed glitters that I got from AliExpress. It's got a good selection. They're kind of iridescent as well, so they're really pretty, so I thought I wanted to use them, and I really wanted to share this with you. This was a find. I found this on AliExpress. It's actually a candle holder, tea light candle holder, but it's solid glass, so it's nice and weighty and heavy, so when you're swiping your brush on the side it doesn't move so easy. And I just thought I'd share it with you because I absolutely love working with this as my monomer dish. It is perfect, so I thought I'd show you with my little ruler the dimensions of it. So, and I've left a link in the cards, no, not in the cards, in the description box. I've left a link to this cube candle holder which I use for a monomer dish, just in case someone else fancies getting hold of one. It's not an affiliate link or anything, it's just the place where I purchased mine from, if anyone is interested. But I absolutely love it. It is the perfect monomer dish. Oh, I'm so in love with it. Anywho, let's get on with the set. As usual, I'm using my beautiful Handolly to work on. She is a very good customer. She's a very good model. So if you're interested in getting your hands on a realistic silicone practice hand, then do check out www.handolly.co.uk and you are welcome to use my code KFGIFT for a discount on your order. And I highly recommend Handolly. I love using it. It's helped me so much. You can do whatever design you like and she never complains. It's awesome. Anyway, with the set I am using these curved tips again. Thought I'd give them another go just for a bit of, variety, spice of life and all of that. So I did the full length of these curved tips and I've applied my thin clear base as usual, as you saw there, and now I'm going into the acrylic design. So I'm going to be doing some ombres, but diagonally slanted ombres of two of the rainbow colours first of all, and then I'm going to ombre the cover pink over that in just a straight on ombre. So yeah, there's a lot going on with this set, but I just thought it was nice and bright and fun and colourful and glittery and just all of that good stuff. So what I did first of all was applied the blue on one corner of the nail, blended that out, and then put the purple on the other opposite side and blended them together to get a decent ombre. I mean, the ombre doesn't have to be perfect because I am adding the glitter, so I'm not that worried if the ombre isn't entirely perfect. It's not the end of the world because the glitter will hide a fair amount of it, but I still want it to be a decent ombre anyway. So once I've applied the relevant glitter, the corresponding glitter to the colour, so obviously with the purple I put the purple glitter over it, and with the blue I put the blue glitter over it, just corresponding. Then I'll let that set up because obviously I need the glitters to set in place. I pick up the glitters with a bit of clear acrylic if my coloured powders have set up. So if the coloured powders are still wet, you can just tap the glitter straight on and it will stick, but if your coloured powders have already started to set up, then you will need to pick up the glitter with a little bit of clear acrylic to get them to stick on. So I'm just going to work this ombre between the yellow and the green, same principle, on a diagonal slant, get that ombre nice, and then add the corresponding glitter. So I'm adding the green glitter on the green side, and once I've added that, I will add the yellow glitter on the yellow side, and I'm also sort of edging a bit of the yellow up into the green and a bit of the green down into the yellow, sort of get a nice little mix going, but not too mixed, if that makes sense, just so that you're kind of ombreing the glitter as well, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'll just keep doing that. If, like I said, there I've just added a tiny bit of clear acrylic to get the glitters to stick in place, because my coloured powders had started to set up. So that's what I was talking about. And if you're using the clear acrylic to stick the glitters on, just make sure you're using very tiny wet beads of clear acrylic. You don't need a lot, and if you use a lot, you will bulk it out. Same with the coloured powders. I'm putting on a very, very thin layer, because we are not only ombreing those two colours, we're going to be ombreing the cover pink, as well as we've got the glitter on top. So there's a lot going on there, and if you put too much of the coloured powders on and you don't keep it thin enough, by the time you've added the glitter and then you cap, well, you ombre the cover pink and then cap with clear, you could end up with a really thick nail. So keep these layers very, very thin, because the last thing you want to do is end up with a bulky nail, file into it, and then end up filing into the glitters and the colours, because that would ruin the effect, and you don't want that. So do make sure that you're keeping these layers super, super thin, so that you've got enough of a margin to cap and add your apex and strength, and know that you're not going to file into it when you come to shape the nails. Really important that keep it super, super thin. I know it's hard to tell on camera, but if you look, when I turn it to the side, it is still a very flat nail. So once I'm happy with the ombre, then I will use the little bit of clear acrylic to pick up the glitters, like I mentioned, get those stuck on corresponding, so the orange glitter is going over the orange half. And then once I've got enough coverage with that, I will add some of the pink glitter, picking that up with tiny wet beads of clear acrylic again. Super, super tiny beads, really, really small. You don't need a lot. All you're wanting the clear acrylic to do is literally act as a glue to hold the glitter pieces in place, so that when you cap, they don't move. That is the only reason you're using clear acrylic. It just, think of it as a glue at this point. That's all you're doing with it, just to help you get those stuck on. And then I take as I'm going along, I take a look at all of the nails and see how the set is coming along. Is it a nice cohesive looking design? Don't just focus on the one nail. Look at all of them as well. I say it a lot in my videos, but stop and look. It really does make a difference to your finished product. Stop and look at all of the nails, and just make sure that it's going according to plan and it's still looking like a cohesive set, because sometimes you'll think of a design in your head, but as you're doing it, it doesn't quite work out. And if you're just concentrating on one particular nail at a time and not looking at the set as a whole, you may then at the end think, oh, this doesn't quite look the way I expected it to, and that's because you've not paid attention throughout. So yeah, just stop and look. It really does make a difference. So on the ring finger, I'm doing a horizontal ombre down the nail, so starting at the cuticle with the yellow, then graduating into the green, the blue, the purple, the pink, the orange, all the way down the nail. So I'm just ombreing each colour as I go along. The key to an ombre is to use wet beads and feather out just the very edge, not the entire bead, if that makes sense. Again, I'm adding glitter on this, so my ombre doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it to look decent, I don't want it to look too messy, but a lot of it will be hidden by the glitter, because you know what I'm like, once I start putting glitter on, I get carried away and I add as much as physically possible. I was only supposed to add a small amount of glitter, but as you can see, I just keep adding more and more. And again, tiny beads of clear acrylic, wet beads of clear acrylic, to get these glitters attached to the nail. So again, they're corresponding, so orange over orange, pink over pink, purple over purple, etc. And I'll just work my way from free edge back up towards the cuticle area as I go. And again, we are keeping this super thin. Make sure you pat those glitters and get them nice and flat so that they're sitting flush to the nail and not sticking up, because if they're sticking up, you're likely to file into them, which you don't want to do. It will ruin the effect. Some glitters you can get away with filing into, they're not quite so noticeable, but not all of them. So yeah, it's better to just keep the layers thin, that way you don't have to worry about filing into them. So whilst I'm adding the glitter pieces in colour coordinated design, I'm all matchy. Anyway, whilst I'm doing that, let's have a chat. How's everyone doing? I hope you're all doing really well, and you know, things are starting to get back to normal. I actually went to a festival at the weekend. I went to the Hastings Reggae Festival, and it was so much fun. I saw Janet Kay and Carol Thompson and David Rodigan, and it was so much fun. I didn't manage to last the entire evening. I was in so much pain, but I did get to have a little bit of a boogie. My ankles actually behaved. They didn't swell up, which was awesome. And obviously I had my wheelchair, so I could sit. I sat most of the time and sort of had a little dance with when Janet Kay and Carol Thompson were singing. Couldn't resist that, because I love my Lovers Rock. I am a reggae fan for sure. So yeah, that was really nice. And I saw some family and friends there as well. Myself, my husband and my daughter went, and my daughter's friends were there as well, and I had some family, and my husband's family were there as well. So it was just really good fun to just be around friends and family and have a laugh, and yeah, just let your hair down a bit and have a boogie and just be outside and be with people. It's really nice. I'm paying for it. I'm in agony. I could barely move, but it was totally worth it. It's what day is it today? I don't even see what I mean. I don't even know what day it is today. It is Tuesday today. So yeah, I'm still paying for it today, and yeah. Although this video won't go up until Thursday, because this will be my Thursday upload. I do like to get them done and scheduled beforehand. But yeah, I'm in a lot of pain, but it was so worth it. I had so much fun. It was really nice to get out. I can't even remember the last time I left the house like that to do something like that. So yeah, anyway, what are you doing? Can you believe I've actually got something to say, that I've actually done something? Didn't have to live vicariously through you guys this time. I actually had something to say. Woo! Yeah, of course I'm on a lot of morphine, but you know, it was worth it. It was worth it. I don't care if I can't move right now. I had so much fun. What did you get up to at the weekend? Did you do anything exciting, or were you just plotted up on the sofa watching Netflix? I quite like doing that. I do that quite often, so you know, no harm there. It's rare for me to get out, but yeah. Anyway, carrying on. Let's get back to the nails, shall we? Me rambling on with finally having a social life. Anyway, so what I'm doing now is ombreing the cover pink over the rainbow ombres as well. So I did the rainbow ombres on a diagonal slant, but with the cover pink ombre I am just doing it as a standard, just straight down. no particular reason, it's just the way I fancied doing it, so that's what I did. I'm applying the Comfort Pink very thinly, again just getting that cuticle area nice and neat, getting my ombre looking good so that it's a seamless blend, but using tiny beads. You see the tiny beads that I use right now? Yeah, that's just to help the blend be much more seamless. And if I get a bit too much cover pink over the glitter, you see I just use my brush to push it back up to where it should be and off the glitter, so I'm not trying to cover up the glitter too much. And for some reason I left this one half done, so I've gone back to it. I think I got distracted and forgot I'd only half done this ombre. So when I looked at the nails I was like, oh, you don't look right. So yes, add a bit more cover pink to this one to sort out that ombre. And as I'm working, you see that I'm working from one finger to the next finger. What that does is it allows each section to set up so that when I do the next part, it's what was already done isn't disturbed. It's a good way of working, because the last thing you want is to be say I went straight in with this ombre, my glitter would have moved. So that's why I do one thing on one nail, move to the next nail, carry it on, and again I stop and look and see how my ombre is looking on all of the nails, because I want to make sure that the ombre is coming down a similar, what's the word I'm looking for, it's coming down as far as it should according to the previous nails. So where I've done it sort of a third of the way down, I want to make sure it's the third of the way down on the other nail. So that's why I stop and look, because if you stop and look, that's at that point you can make any adjustments you need to. Say I hadn't have brought the cover pink down far enough, well at that point I would be able to add a bit more before I capped, and that's why I stop and look to see how the set is coming along. I know I'm like a scratch record saying this, but it really does make a difference to how your sets look when they are finished. So after all of that, then I will cap, and as you can see I've almost finished capping this little finger in clear acrylic. Now when you are capping curved nails and creating your strength and structure of the nail, that it is slightly different to a nail that is straight. So the way a curved nail sits on the fingers, the shape of it, the way it curves down, means that you have to slightly adjust your apex to compensate for the way it curves. So your apex is still in the back third, but it's a little bit further down towards where the natural free edge would be. It's hard to explain without physically showing you, but just bear in mind that when you're doing curved nails, your apex is just, it needs adjusting. It needs to come down a bit further down the nail to balance out the way the nail curves. And when you're filing, you have to adjust the way you're filing if you want to keep that curve in the nail. I will show you the filing, so I'll talk a bit more about that when we get to it. But yeah, when you're capping, if you look from the side, you can see what I mean. It doesn't look the same as a straight nail does when you look at it from the side. There is definitely a difference when building your structure on a curved nail than when it is a straight nail. So when you turn the nail to the side, you'll see what I mean. The apex isn't immediately in the back third, it's a little bit lower than that. It's more towards where the natural free edge would be, because it needs a bit more strength there because of the way the nail curves. So yeah, just bear that in mind. When you're capping, also after you've used glitter, it's a good idea to fold your kitchen roll over. That way you are folding the glitter away, so that when you're wiping your brush, when you're capping, you're not picking up bits of glitter and ending up with that in your clear. So that's just a little tip for you. Fold your kitchen roll over after you've done your glitter application, then you won't end up with glitter in the other bits that you're doing when you're doing, like when I did the cover pink and when you're capping. It just makes it a little bit easier and less stressful, which you don't have to dig out bits of glitter then, unless you've got some stuck in your brush and in your monomer. Well, then you might still get the odd bit of glitter in the way that you might have to remove, but mostly, yeah, as long as you fold the kitchen roll. See, look, I've got a bit of glitter stuck there where I didn't want it to be. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, fold the kitchen roll over and then that's less likely to happen. And that's the only bit of stray glitter that managed to get away from me. So folding over the kitchen roll definitely helps. Just a little tip for you there. And again, I've spoken about this in previous videos. As you are getting towards the end of your set, your monomer may start getting thicker. As it starts reducing and gets contaminated by the powder, it can start to thicken and get a bit gloopy, which will make your capping process a little bit more difficult. If that starts happening, switch out your monomer, pour it onto your kitchen roll, soak that up, and then put some fresh monomer in your monomer dish, and it will make your capping go so much easier. So just a little tip for you. I don't really hear anyone speaking about that, and it is something that happens, so don't think there's anything wrong with you if your monomer is getting a little bit thick towards the end of your set. It's completely normal. It can happen. It just means that your brush hasn't been wiped quite enough, and some of the powder has got into the monomer, and therefore it started to thicken because of the powder. But it's nothing to worry about. It's not going to cause any issues apart from making your application just that little bit more difficult. So just switch out your monomer, problem solved. So once I've finished capping, again I take a last look at all of the nails, look at them from all different angles, make sure that they are a similar width and thickness, and if they're not, then I'll add a bit more acrylic, and if they are, then I'll let them set up, clean up all my bits and bobs, put those away, and then we can get on to the filing. So for my frosty filing freaks, here we go. I'm trying the metal fireboard again because, you know, I did say I would give it a proper go. So, you know, giving it a proper go. So when you're filing curved nails, you don't want to file the underarch too much because you will actually file away the curve. So you'll see I start underneath, just a little bit on the underneath, but mostly I'm doing just the sides. I will fix the rest of the underneath with my e-file because I don't want to lose my curve. If I totally file the underarch with a straight file, then that curve is going to disappear and the nails are going to be straight, and that's not the look we're going for in this set. So mostly I'm concentrating on just those sidewalls. So you see I go under just a little bit and then rotate up and sort out those sidewalls because I want those sidewalls to be nice and straight. This is a square set, so that's we need to square it all off. So square off the sides, square off the free edge, and you'll see I'm doing one side of the nails, working my way from little finger to index finger, and then I switch to the other side of the nail, working from index finger back towards the little finger, and stopping and looking as I go to make sure all of the nails are a similar shape and that they are not wonky, because if you file one side of the nail too much, you will have a wonky nail, which you really don't want. So do stop and look. I know I've said it a million times already, but it is imperative. I can't stress that enough, and that's why I say it as much as I do. It makes a huge difference if you just stop and look. So I'm just going to finish filing the sidewalls of that little finger now, making sure it's nice and straight. Sort out that free edge, square that off, and then I will switch to my e-file. I'm using a diamond cone bit to go around the cuticle area. Make sure that is nice and flush to the nail. When I say flush to the nail, I mean that you will no longer see a seam. It will be, you won't, if you ran your fingers over it, you wouldn't be able to feel where the acrylic starts from the natural nail. That's what I mean. So you're making sure there's no lip, there's no step, there's no edge. You want it completely flush to the nail so that you cannot feel where that acrylic begins. That's really important because that seals round the cuticle area and will help guard against lifting. If you have a step or a lip or an edge back in that cuticle area, it is likely that hair and other bits and clothing can get stuck on it, and that will pull up the acrylic, which will make it lift. So to avoid the lifting, make sure that cuticle area is nice and sealed and completely flush to that nail. It makes a huge difference with how your set will last longevity wise, and the less lifting the better, for a myriad of reasons. So once I've finished doing that bit, I will switch to this is a 5-in-1 fine bit, and I'm just going to contour that nail, slightly debulking, not too much to debulk per se, but a little bit of debulking to do, just contouring and refining the shape of that nail. Now, because the nail is curved, I'm working with the shape of the nail, so I want to make sure there are no flat bits and that the nail is curving completely the way I want it to go. Like I said, filing curved nails is slightly different to filing a straight nail, so you do have to sort of adjust how you're working. And you'll see I'm blending where I did the cuticle area, I'm blending that into the rest of the nail. I'm also blending in the lines that I filed on the side walls. We want to blend those in so that the nail is totally curved, because you don't want that harsh edge on each side of the nail. You want to blend it in so that it's a total curve. You want to make sure your apex is there, don't file that away, and also make sure that your free edge is no thicker than a credit card, otherwise it's just not enjoyable to wear, and aesthetically it just doesn't look as nice if it's a thick free edge. So yeah, I'll just carry on blending and contouring that nail as I go. My application wasn't horrendous, but it wasn't great. That's why I'm using a carbide bit instead of going straight in with the sanding band like I normally do. If my application is good, then I'll just use a sanding band to do my refining, but this needed just that little bit more refining. I'm out of practice on doing curved nails, so yeah, my application wasn't great, hence I'm using this 5-in-1 carbide bit. I mean, it's still a fine bit, so I'm still not removing a huge amount of acrylic at a time, and I don't have it on a particularly fast speed either. I think I probably had it on like 8 or 9, so it wasn't high. It just helps smooth and contour that nail and debulk it just that little bit quicker than the sanding band would, if that makes sense. So yeah, just literally refining. You can see how I'm following the shape of the nail, and I'll look up down the barrel and make sure it's even from side to side. Make sure the tip is no thicker than a credit card, like I said. Once I've finished that bit, then I will switch to my sanding band, and this is where I'll sort out that underarch and make sure my curve is still there. There we go, underneath that underarch, make sure my curve is still there, tidy that up, because if I had have done that with the straight file, I would have lost that beautiful curve, and there's no point using curved tips if you're going to take the curve away, you know? I know curved tips aren't everyone's cup of tea, but I like a bit of variety, so I'll use straight tips, I'll use curved tips, I use all kinds of shapes of tips. Why not? Variety is the spice of life. Definitely not for everybody. I don't particularly wear curved nails myself, I prefer straight ones, but you know, each to their own. I'm not going to discriminate against curved nails. So I will just carry on and finish refining the shape with this sanding band, just checking on that cuticle area and then blending the rest of the nail, removing any of the demarcations from that 5-in-1 bit. This sanding band acts like a buffer, as it were, so it will totally smooth that nail out. Make sure there are no lumps and bumps. You'll see now and again I'll rub my thumb over the nail as well, and that's to make sure that there are no lumps and bumps and that it's nice and smooth. And yeah, so it's literally just contouring and shaping that nail, making sure it has those sexy curves that we all know and love and want on our little hands. Well, little, I've got big hands. I got big man hands. I've got tiny feet. I'm like a size 3 to 4 on my feet, but my hands are massive. I don't understand it, but I'm mixed race, so it is what it is. I'm a bit of a Tempe mix up, so I'm black, white, Indian and Chinese. There you go. Now you know. I'm like the United Colours of Benetton. My parents are Jamaican. Yeah, little bit of, there you go, something you didn't know about me. You know my heritage now, my ethnicity. I know you all knew I was mixed race, but now you know exactly what I'm mixed race with. So, bit of everything. So I think I've got the tiny little Chinese feet, but I've got the big white hands. Or is it big black hands? I'm not sure. I've got Indian hair, but I got the curls from the black side of me. I don't know. I've got a bit of everything. I've got a bit of, you can see the Chinese in my eyes, but you can see the black with my nose. I'm definitely, people don't, when they look at me, they don't know what I am. I've had a lot of people say to me literally the words, "What are you?" I'm like, "I'm a human being, thank you very much." But I know what they mean. They're asking what ethnicity I am, because you can't quite work it out when you look at me. But yeah, a little bit of getting to know Karen. There you go, something you didn't know about me. What are you guys? Are you guys any mixes of anything exotic? What ethnicity are you? I'm curious. What are my subscribers? How are my Frosty fam? What are you? I know you're human, but what's your ethnicity? Do you have any exotic roots? Yeah, it's really, London is a very cosmopolitan place. There are all ethnicities around us here. Anyway, I've been rambling on, finished the filing, removed all of the dust. Now it's time to top it off and keep it tough. The favourite part, and now you can see that glitter come to life. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous glitter? Oh, stunning. Anywho, as we are pretty much at the end of this video, I'd like to say thank you ever so much for coming to my channel, spending some of your most precious time with me. I appreciate you. Thank you ever so much. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. Join the Frosty fam. We would love to have you. And just if you are subscribed, just make sure you are still subscribed, because YouTube does this really weird thing where it unsubscribes people, which is really annoying, but it does. Anywho, it really is a real thing. But anyhow, if this video has helped you in any way, shape or form, or you've enjoyed it in any way, shape or form, please click that like button. It really helps me out. And if you have anything to say, you're more than welcome to leave me a comment. I'm happy to talk to you. So this is the finished set. I hope you've enjoyed this video, spending some time with me, and that is all I've got for this time, my peeps. You take care now, and I'll speak to you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. Surprise! You thought I was gone, didn't you? Yeah. I'm curious to know who watches till the end of my video. So if you are still here and watching, go ahead and put a rainbow emoji in the comments down below, so that I know that you've actually watched the entire video. Let's see who's real Frosty fam and who isn't really Frosty fam. Okay, that's it. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it. Yeah, all hard work's gonna be worth it. Ooh,